This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. It's not as late as what it would be if it's the UK, relatively early, but I'm joined by Mike Coppinger in the aftermath of David Benavidez' stunning stoppage victory against Demetrius Andrade. Mike, David living up to his nickname, the Monster, again.
Yeah, I mean, that was the best performance by far of Benavidez' career thus far, and really a banner year for him, right? He beats Canelo-Plant in March, and he didn't drop Plant, but he beat him down to win a decision. And then tonight against Demetrius Andrade, a guy that's been avoided for a long time, he drops him in the end of round 4. And then, Andrade doesn't come out for the 7th round. And really, I thought Benavidez showed a lot of new wrinkles to his game, right? The body work, the punch variety. And Andrade was very game. I mean, Andrade stood there, tough in there. He was trying to punch his way out of it. So I think Benavidez is even going to be better next time out.
Next time, that's the interesting question. Obviously, a lot of talk about that Canelo fight. There's been some reports of Canelo and Munguia having conversations in the background. Do you know anything about that before we bring David into the equation?
I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, everyone wants a shot at Canelo. It's the biggest payday out there for everybody, and he's the biggest name in boxing. But I think obviously the biggest fight for Canelo is undoubtedly David Benavidez. I mean, Canelo said many times that he wants to see fighters earn a shot at him, and don't blame him for that. And clearly Benavidez has earned a shot at him with this year, beating Canelo-Plant, now beating Demetrius Andrade. There's only one fight we want to see.
So we know about that 3-fight deal that Canelo signed with PBC whilst they're working away in the background trying to get a new broadcast deal heading into next year. Do you think it's likely now that Canelo's hand might be forced on the back of David's year this year?
I don't think anyone's going to force Canelo's hand in anything. I mean, he's the biggest star in boxing. He's the cash cow. He's going to fight whoever he wants to fight. If he wants to fight David Benavidez, it will happen. If he doesn't want to fight him, it's not going to happen.
On that note, have you heard anything about PBC's current position in trying to land a new broadcaster?
I mean, they're working through it right now, and I expect an announcement pretty soon on that.
Just away from them, just coming back to this card, Charlo returning against Benavidez Jr. An entertaining fight, Benavidez Jr. obviously giving it his best, caused Charlo a few problems in there. But what did you make of Jamal's return and the victory?
Well, Charlo was obviously rusty. He said so himself at the post-fight press conference. That's to be expected. He hasn't fought in 29 months before this. But I thought Charlo, he strung his punches together pretty well in combination. He let his hands go. A lot of times with guys coming off long layoffs, you don't see that. His balance probably wasn't where it usually is, fighting at a heavier weight. And again, he just said I think he said he only trained 3 weeks for this fight. So, considering all that and all those expectations, I thought it was a pretty good performance for Charlo. But, it's not the kind of performance where you say, oh, we need to see him against Canelo now.
I was about to ask, that type of performance, what does it suggest in terms of what he needs next? If you was to try and off the top of your head think of a suitable step up for him, where do you think that could go?
I mean, I think ideally you get him one more fight on this level. Again, it was a long layoff, but he said that he wants to go straight into a big fight. And I think I'd like to see him against Canelo-Plant. I mean, Plant is a proven guy at 168 pounds. He lost to Benavidez and Canelo, yes, but, no shame in losing to those two guys. Obviously, there's a lot of bad blood after what transpired earlier this year, so I think that's an obvious fight to make.
Well, of course, I'm over here from the UK as always. A lot of talk about what's happening on the UK scene. A lot of talk about Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. Will it or will it not happen? Do you have any information you can share on it?
I'd be very surprised if the fight doesn't happen. I think everything's moving in the right direction there. And I know it's a big fight in the UK. I don't know if that's a big fight in the US. But, look, Conor Benn, he's back now. And he wants some big fights at 47. But it looks like first he'll take on a fight against Chris Eubank at a higher weight.
I mean, just on Conor, he went on social media, he started calling out Jaron Boots Ennis now. I don't imagine Conor's necessarily at the top of Boots Ennis' priority list, but you mentioned kind of it's not necessarily a big fight, Ben and Eubank over here. How big of a profile do either man, but in this case, Conor Benn, have in the US, if any?
I mean, I don't think Conor Benn or Jaron Bennis have much of a profile in the US yet. I mean, they're two very talented fighters, and Boots Ennis is getting bigger now, fighting on these pay-per-views, on the undercards. He had his first big main event in the summer. But, they're like most guys, they're going to need beat a big opponent to get that profile. Conor Benn certainly doesn't need to fight in the U.S. He's a big star in the U.K., but I'd love to see that fight at some point.
And then, of course, just moving away from that one, get your thoughts on one other topic. Obviously, December 23rd, big show announced for Saudi Arabia. Are you surprised at all that something as big as that could be turned around in such a quick fashion?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, when you have the willpower and the money to do it, you can make things happen. And clearly they have both of those. They have a lot of interest in boxing, and I think it's a very exciting card. I mean, Joshua, I think he's in a lot tougher than Wilder is. I mean, that's a tough fight against Joshua-Wallin. Wallin, obviously, he's gonna have all the confidence in the world. He already won 12 rounds with Tyson Fury, cut him, gave him a real scare. So, and now he's coming off a win over Murat Gassiev. Joshua didn't look his best against Robert Helenius, but I'm sure he's gonna be on his A game this time out.
What do you understand on the training from Anthony Joshua now? It's obviously been reported about his link-up with Ben Davison. We've seen some pad work of them too. From what has come out, the suggestion is beyond December 23rd, he'll revisit his relationship with Derek James. Is that what you know about his current situation?
I mean, let's be real. It's all going to come down to how he performs against Wallin, right? I don't even think he knows yet. So I think Ben Davison's an excellent trainer, and I don't think he gets enough credit. I think he's done a great job with Lee Wood. Thought he did a very nice job with Tyson Fury and a nice job with Devin Haney as well. So let's see how this plays out. But clearly it's going to come down to how Joshua looks against Wallin.
Obviously, even though there's obviously a number of fights that everyone can look forward to on December 23rd, there was that disappointment that two of the men on there, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, are not squaring off with each other. We've seen Eddie's comments that he's confident prior to December 23rd coming around that a deal can be struck. From any of your understanding, do you think Joshua Wilder's moving in the right direction still?
I mean, I'd be very surprised if Wilder and Joshua are going to share a card in Saudi Arabia and not fight each other, assuming they both win. But I don't think this is any foregone conclusion. I mean, I know everyone's picking Wilder by knockout against Joseph Parker. Certainly that's a smart pick. But I think, again, Joshua's in very tough against Wallin, and we're going to have to see how everything plays out.
Well, Mark, it's a pleasure as always. I'm leaving now to obviously enjoy the rest of your night here in Las Vegas. Good to catch up with you, and I'll speak to you again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.